Welcome back to the Undefined Talk Show. My name is Marcus and I'll be your host. Today we are joined by a very special guest. He's actually Terry. And Terry and I knew each other from the NS, National Service. And after that, he actually helped me to source my first rental property. And basically on this Undefined Talk Show, we are interviewing guests who have gone through unconventional routes to actually get where they are. And today Terry, he's going to be sharing with us how he actually entered a pretty age-dominated industry whereby there's usually older, experienced people who are in this industry, but he has actually managed to enter the industry, and I think he's doing pretty well, right?
Yeah.
So,
I would say at the very least at our age, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. That's great. So maybe Terry, you can introduce yourself and share about what you're doing and how you got into this industry basically.
Okay, my name is Terry. I'm currently a year 3 real estate student at NUS, just like Marcus at NUS. Yeah, so I started this journey actually back when we were in NS. So in the second year of NS, I'm pretty sure there were a lot of nights out and we had a lot of time. So I decided to figure out what I want to do and explored many options. And I figured that since I'm young, I should probably do sales, and that's how I got started taking the real estate salesperson exam. I actually took night classes. So I'm pretty sure, Marcus, you remember all the nights out, all the fun times, after a while, it got boring for me, so I signed up for a 1-month intensive night class. So every day at 7, the class will start at Toa Payoh, and it will go until 10 before I head back to camp. Wow. And then I went on to take the real estate salesperson exam. Well, I didn't succeed the first time. I actually failed both papers, paper 1 and 2 the first time.
You actually failed the first time?
Yeah. It was it's very competitive and it's not easy. Only the second time, which was about 3 months later, then I passed both papers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to understand, so you were in national service. I mean, we both were in the same unit, right? And you were basically, so you just got bored of just going out at night and instead of doing something productive. Is that what made you decide to think about doing this?
Yes, you're right about the productive part. But also I want to do something that's meaningful,
right.
Something that's value adding to my life,
right.
Rather than just hanging out.
Right.
I mean, hanging out is fun, but I want to do something more meaningful.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what made you decide to say okay, I'm going to do something meaningful with this and I'm going to choose real estate personally?
I've always been interested in real estate. That's why I chose the course. I was actually exploring what are the career options I can do with my course and wanted to just explore this route. Yeah. I think it's quite interesting as I read about it. Yeah.
So you kind of had some reading up before you decide that okay, this is really what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any person that maybe you were inspired or that you saw then you were like, hey, this is something that I want to do?
Maybe some YouTube videos, but I would say most of the motivation is still from myself. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So how was it like? I mean, you mentioned that you failed this exam. Is there a reason why you failed? Is it because usually people they take some university degree first, then they take the exam, and then that's why it's so hard for you?
Well, the requirement for this salesperson license is actually just 21 years old, and I think you have to pass 5 subjects in O levels. Okay. So I met all of the criteria, so I thought, why not try it? Yeah. Well, why did I fail? I must say I was a bit complacent. I thought it was just most of it is MCQ plus short answer questions. I thought I could wing it, but apparently not. So the second time I really studied harder for it lah.
Okay, nice. Okay, so after you finish you passed the thing, right? Then what do you do after that?
Okay, so I had a manager. I basically had to learn the ropes right from the beginning. I must say it was not an easy route because I had no capital. I was still a broke kid. So with some of my NS pay and like I took a loan from my parents actually to like get a startup course. There were things I had to pay for like marketing costs to even get even a property guru account that cost like $2,000
Just to get a property
Yes,
guru account.
yes.
Wow, okay.
So well, startup is one thing, and then learning the ropes is another. So I went to follow my upline, which is my manager,
Yeah.
to go for viewings, learn the way she talks, and just learn the way to present to clients. And after many rounds of training, I think I closed my first deal in like the first month. Yeah.
In the first month
Yeah,
of
it was,
like
it
of
was-
of being in the field, you closed it. Wow.
It was a deal that I got it from an online forum actually. So I was desperate. I didn't have any clients. Friends around me are not buying or renting.
Of course, because they're like your same age.
Yes, precisely. So I had to work on the cold market, the cold clients, which is hard, but I have to do it. So with little money, I had no choice but to try and find clients from like zero cost. So I went to online forums like Reddit, like all the property forums, and then whenever I see people asking questions, I will answer their questions.
So even if the question is not like directly linked to the sale, like just a general question.
Yes, just a general question, just to build the rapport and try to get a contact out there.
Right.
Yeah. So after like many answerings on the forum, managed to get one Chinese client from China. She was relocated to a hotel in Singapore, so I actually helped her to find a place to rent, and my first commission check was like $2,000.
Wow.
And then the story just goes on from there. Yeah.
So is this normal? Like people like when they start out, they just go to like Reddit and other forums.
So many everyone starts differently. So most of my colleagues, they actually start from their warm clients, which are family members or friends. But for me, I didn't have any leads from there, so I had to figure something out.
Right.
Advertising was not cheap, so I didn't have the means to like send out flyers and all that.
Right.
Yeah, so I started from there, and then I basically reinvested all my commission back into this business, and then try and expand from there.
Wow. Okay. So I guess like if you are, for you, like because you're kind of like in a different position compared to people who have maybe like have some capital, so you have to try to find like creative ways to score your first client.
Yes.
Okay. So this is your own idea, right?
Yeah, it's completely my own idea. After all, I had to figure something out.
Yeah. Okay. So you closed it within your first month. So after the first month, is it like was it like a momentum thing, or was that like kind of like a lucky thing, or how did it work?
Okay, the first one, maybe it's lucky, but I continued doing that.
Oh, the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
The same thing. Well, I would say it was not easy because maybe out of like 50 people that I messaged, only one will like move somewhere. Most of the replies will get unanswered and no response from them, but that's fine. It's free. Yeah.
True.
Then I continued doing that, and then I helped more tenants, to find places, and then I got my first save up my first $10,000, and then I reinvested back into the business again.
Right.
And then subsequently I explored different ways of getting leads. The next one I did was like flyers.
Right.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
I was again pretty lucky, I must say.
Oh,
because in the first month nothing happened, but in the second month calls started coming in.
You mean the first month of giving out flyers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Giving out flyers is in like mailing to the addresses of the condominiums.
Right.
So I'm actually focusing on the condo resale market.
Right.
Yeah. Then the second month calls started coming in.
Wow.
Landlords called me to help them to rent their places out.
Yeah.
And then I had a call to sell a place at Marina.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was at the sale.
Right.
I was like crazy like about that because that was my first
Like
ever,
big thing.
Yeah, big thing. And then I work on it. First I meet the client, build rapport. After all, it's a people business, right? So yeah, I worked on it, and then end of last year managed to close the deal. Yeah.
Nice.
And then of course along the way there are other sale deals as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a bit curious. So, I mean, from what I imagine, and actually from what we experience as well, there are some people that may kind of like maybe not really trust you or even like look down on you because of your age or your experience, right? I'm sure like these are big deals that is like carry a lot of money, right? So at the start, and particularly at the start, like do you ever face like rejections because of your age or your lack of experience?
Well, definitely I had a lot of rejections, but in this business it's important not to give up, and it's really to take ownership of what you do. Of course, after the first few rejections I was dejected, but what's going to happen from there is how I manage it, right?
Yeah.
So do I just feel dejected, and just fade away, or do I come back stronger and work harder on it? People may not trust you because maybe I look young, but that could be an advantage. I'm young, I'm full of energy, I work very hard for the deals that I get, make sure I close them, and I use that not as a weakness but turn it to become a strength for me, right? I would say it's very important to have my balls up in the air, even if I don't know, I won't give wrong information, but I will find out and I will make sure that the question is solved, right? It's very important to have to even appear that you are confident. Confidence is very important in this line.
Right. Okay, so you kind of like, what people usually say like it's a weakness, you just kind of like turn it into a strength, and you're not even like lying about it, but it's really the truth, because you're right. Young people, they are usually have more energy, more drive, right? And do you like explicitly convey this to your clients? Like, do you say it like when they tell you like, hey, you're so young, how can you do this? Or then do you say these things, or do you just like show it through your actions?
Well, initially when I face the rejections, I do turn it around and say the strengths. But subsequently, as I appear more and more confident, as I practice speaking to different people, I gain more confidence and I'm more comfortable speaking to strangers. People start asking me their questions. So I guess age didn't really matter at all. Because at the end of the day, it's how you present yourself.
That's true. So nowadays people don't ask you for your age.
Yeah, they don't.
Okay.
And I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
No,
of course.
Because I mean, age is not determinant of the deals that you make, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's what you bring to the table, what you can offer to the table.
Right. Okay, cool. So what other, just curious, like what other rejections have you faced? Like besides like your experience or your age?
Well, price. I mean, negotiations is another thing that is like a problem, right? I mean, that's what we are getting paid for, to negotiate and close the deal.
So how do you learn all these skills? I mean, like it seems like you don't only have to learn the technical skill, like about like property and things like that, but also like the soft skills, right? Like you said, negotiation and things. So how do you actually learn that?
Actually, along the way, I don't just meet like clients and strangers. I also meet a lot of my colleagues.
Okay.
I ask them out for coffee, just to learn how to speak to people.
Yeah.
I remember very clearly one of my first few deals in sales. I actually sat down at Intercontinental Hotel with my colleague, and we actually rehearsed every time before the phone rings, or every time before I make the phone call, and then I will rehearse with my colleague, and I will copy exactly what he says.
Wow. So you take note of what he says.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically like us right now.
Yeah.
So he will tell me, okay, this is what you're gonna say, and then like I'm gonna repeat once, and then I'm gonna press the phone. Okay, and then I'm gonna say exactly as how he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we don't know what the result is gonna be, but it was worth a shot. Yeah,
Right.
and we closed that deal as well. Yeah, at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right. So it's actually a lot of it's really a lot of like background work that goes into it that I mean I don't even know, right?
Yes, it's a lot of hard work, and the thing about this is that you never know where you end up.
Right.
Yeah, because leads can come from anywhere, and the deal close or not, it could happen both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe just give you a scenario. Let's say you did exactly what you did, but let's say it didn't work out. Like what would you have done?
Well, it was a good lesson. I'll learn what not to say or what to say the next time. But even though that may not work out, I will still carry on from there lah.
Right.
It's a good practice also.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you say like it's really like not to see it as a failure but as a lesson.
Yes.
Okay. You talked about like not seeing failure as a failure but rather as a learning point, right? Like I mean this is actually quite common amongst like usually people who start their own thing. I think just like everything at the start, like you will confirm fail because basically at the start maybe you don't really know what you're doing, or there's a lot of things to learn. But I just want to ask like how did you get into this mentality, because not everyone really like sees it that way. Some people like when they experience failure then they're like, oh damn, and then they just like give up or feel like super dejected. So how did you develop this mentality?
I guess you are right about that. Like many people see it differently.
Yeah.
Personally, I've seen many people in this line of business quitting after a short while, even though it was not easy passing the exam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I always tell myself that since I'm really like knee deep into this, I can't give up.
Yeah.
I will be like I feel like I will be like disappointing my parents.
Right.
After all I took a loan from them, I need to repay them back. Anyway, that aside, that was a beginning part.
Yeah.
But subsequently, it is all about balance, I must say. There are times, of course, I feel like, wow, how am I supposed to carry this on? Every month I'm burning money on advertisements and prospecting.
This is now or like last
yeah,
time?
it's concurrently
it's
also.
Concurrent,
Yeah, but I have to find the balance to tell myself that if I don't give up, things may change.
Right.
Like I would never have known that I would get my first deal back then.
Of course.
Right? So things change. It's a matter of how you look at them.
Yeah.
And even if I feel dejected, I always find a way to pick myself up and just keep carrying on. Yeah. Because the positive energy that you carry will also be passed on to the people around. So whoever that I meet, they can feel it too. And if you're a very negative person, don't even bother. It's pretty obvious that people can feel it, and they won't feel good about the place that you're selling or whatever, renting out. Yeah, so it's very important to stay positive. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree, right? But even like for myself, sometimes I find it hard to stay positive. So what do you personally do to actually like keep yourself like psyched and really tackle the day?
Well, for that,
is it like just like a mindset?
Okay, it might be a bit embarrassing, but sometimes
Sure.
I watch like motivational YouTube videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not embarrassing. I think a lot of people actually do that.
You know, just to keep myself psyched, you know,
Yeah.
keep my mentality strong, keep my mental well-being there,
Right,
you know.
right. So it's a lot of like internal.
It's
Internal
it's
thing,
a internal battle. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, actually, you know, I've never really seen you like in a negative state before. Yeah. So that's actually quite impressive.
Because you must always know that in the world out there, there will always be people who are worse off than you. So you are not actually in a very bad situation as you may think.
Right.
If others can pick themselves up, so why can't I do that? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good thing
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll try to listen to those motivational videos.
Yeah, that's really embarrassing. Yeah.
No, it's not embarrassing. I mean, whatever works, right?
Yeah,
Honestly,
whatever works.
Whatever works. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you also mentioned that I think something that I also caught on was that you took a loan from your parents. Right?
Yeah.
So did they like? I mean, were they like very willing to give you that loan, or like were they like a bit doubtful, or like what was it like?
Initially, I could feel like they were doubtful, but I felt that what made them feel more comfortable was that they could see the effort that I put in. Yeah, so from even studying for the exam and like working very hard to find, working very hard on the job, I could feel that they know and they could feel it. That's what I feel made them see things in a more positive light.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you like try to convince them, or you just work your ass off and then they?
Of course, both.
Okay.
Well, I explain like if this thing works out, it's good for everyone. I repay you, and I don't need to keep taking money from you. I can be self-sustainable.
Of course.
And then it could work out well for my future, save money for my first house and all that. Yeah, so it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
So I told them I don't see a reason why we shouldn't take this risk.
Yeah.
And they agreed.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so the next thing that I wanted to ask is like, is there any particular point in time where you felt like, like super dejected, or like maybe like you consider like your worst downfall, worst setback, throughout your years of doing this?
I would say it has always been an internal battle because when you're not getting calls, you're not closing deals, then you feel a bit like uneasy.
Like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah. But the thing is that that's perfectly fine because it's part of the market.
Yeah.
The market transactions will always be there, but sometimes you may be up, sometimes you may be down. It's perfectly normal. It's part of the business.
Right.
Yeah. I think this goes the same for most other businesses as well. There are ups and downs. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So as long as I remain positive, keep going, I think it will be fine.
Yeah, I think I really got to learn from you about this positive attitude. Yeah, it seems to be something that is really like pushing you forward, right? Okay, so what do you think is like your goal moving forward? Is it like do you have any like particular like bigger goal, or just want to continue doing like this?
Well, I must say, my biggest goal right now is to do what I preach to my clients, which is wealth creation in property. So I'm aiming for my first property right now.
For yourself?
Yes, for myself.
Wow.
Because I always preach to my clients how they can use property as a means to, whether be it to upgrade their lifestyle or, just to create wealth and preserve them.
Right.
Yeah. For the betterment of their life.
Yeah.
I think I should practice what I preach. So that's what I'm aiming for right now.
So are you like almost there, or?
I must say, I'm on the way.
Okay.
I'm on the way. Not there yet, but I'm on the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's quite impressive that you're almost going to buy your own property already, and you're like not much older than me, right?
I must say everyone has different stories.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you start, as long as you just start.
Right.
I think that should be the way. And I feel that everyone has their own struggles, everyone has their own battles. we shouldn't really like compare one another.
Of course.
If I don't manage to achieve by a certain age, or if I manage to achieve, I would say it's a bonus.
Okay. So let's move on to like more general questions. So what would you say to someone that, let's say, is wants to get into this particular industry, but has no idea where to start?
The first step is to start, and as long as you start somewhere, you're on a good track, because most people don't even start.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, to know where, I would say do a lot of research, ask a lot of people questions. Even if you don't know them, drop them a message. Hi, can I find out more about this? Or like, can I ask you some questions? You know, people are generally more receptive compared to what others think. Yeah, people are generally willing to help. So as long as you keep an open mind and ask people, I'm sure you'll get somewhere.
So like kind of like look for people that can give you advice, like maybe people are more experienced or something.
That is one way, but you can also ask people around. They may not. Sometimes I feel that people who are at a similar level as you may be a better choice, because they understand where you are at, and they understand how you should carry on from there. Because your position is very different from someone who is very experienced. So their advice may not be relatable. I see. So someone who is a nearer level may be a better choice. But of course, keep your options open. Ask everyone. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so my next question to you is like, how do you deal with people who basically like what? Okay, this is what I call like something like a naysayer. You know, like they basically criticize you for starting or doing things like that, lah. So do you think like you should always listen to people, or do you think like you should just do what's right? Like, how do you find that balance?
Well, personally, I do not get much criticisms. But even if there is, I mean, it shouldn't affect me, because if it affects me, then what's the point of listening to them? Because after all, you gain what you reap. So if that is going to hinder your growth, then I would just block that out. Okay. As for like constructive criticisms, of course I do ask around. I do ask my friends. I do ask my girlfriend, like, what am I doing things right? Am I doing things properly? Yeah, and that happens a lot along the way, especially in my rental cases. There are a lot of disputes, and I have to be the middleman. It's very difficult, and then sometimes you feel like one party is right, but then you're representing the other party. So
I see. Yeah.
there is a dilemma, and if you tell your client that he's wrong, I mean,
he won't be happy.
They won't be happy, but you have to tell them like in a nice way, and after all, you're trying to solve the issue, and it's not easy. Otherwise, just keep going.
And one more question I have is like, so when you actually have achieved like certain amount of success, you know, it can sometimes get to you. You can feel like can either feel like complacent or feel even arrogant, right? So how do you like personally like stay grounded?
I must admit, at certain points in this journey, I had like suddenly get a big commission check, and then I suddenly get very like fruity and like feel good about myself, and then it only hits me like when I take a short break, and then after a while I lost the momentum, and then when I try to work it back, it's difficult. So that after all, it's a journey. It's something to learn from. So no matter how big or small the successes are, just got to keep going. That's what I learned from this. Of course, to understand how I felt when I closed a big case, I'll be taking the cashier's check,
Yeah.
and then in front of everyone at the lobby, I was just like jumping around.
Oh, really?
I was like, yes.
Like last time, is it?
Yeah, last time when I first got the big commission check. Yeah.
And of course that.
Of course, the first is the option money when I
Yeah.
got it, and after the owner signed the sales and purchase. Of course, at the lobby, I was like jumping, like literally jumping. Then everyone was like, "What?" Like just walking past.
Yeah.
And then the second time was when I walked to the lawyer's office to collect my own commission check. The feeling is immense.
Yeah.
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 And then I was just happily jumping to the bank to cash it in. Yeah.
So you have to kind of like remind yourself.
Yeah.
I see.
But of course, that shouldn't be the end of the story.
Yeah.
Just have to keep working because after all, the income is not consistent.
Yeah.
So I have to keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like usually when you start something on your own or you kind of like do something new or unconventional, sometimes like you mentioned just now, like you can't really see the future, right? Like everything is very uncertain. Like you don't know if whatever you spend will actually make or break. So how do you actually strategize to make sure that on one hand you are not going down like a silly path whereby you just end up spending all your money and you just basically lose everything, versus like having faith in something and just carry on through it. So how do you make sure that it's not blind faith basically? Or does it have to be blind faith sometimes?
Well, sometimes it has to be, but sometimes in order to keep myself grounded, I always tell myself to, after I get the commission, I need to save first. Yeah, that's very important because I never know what's coming next.
Yeah.
So I need to have a certain capital. Another aspect of this is that I always look at some of my peers. I mean, it's not a nice thing, but I always look at some of my peers who, splurge after they get a big check, and then now that some of them may be like struggling to keep up with like advertisements or keep up with the prospecting costs, because in this line of business, prospecting is like breathing. You really never stop prospecting. The moment you stop, you will just die. I suppose.
Okay, so I guess we have come to the end, but do you have any final words for anybody, for like who are our viewers?
Like I say just now, no matter where you are, we are all in our own different journeys, our own different stories, and we have our very own very different successes. So as long as you get started, I think you're on a good path. So just keep going.
That's good advice. I think like you said, a lot of people also don't really start, right? So then there's just, you don't really know whether you'll fail or not.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's basically the end of today's episode. I'd like to thank Terry, who is our guest today, and thank you for taking your Saturday morning to come down and film this. So I definitely hope that the viewers will actually get a good lesson out of this. Maybe those that might be interested in coming to the real estate industry, they have a better idea of like how to start or like what to look forward to. Anyway, so thank you very much, and that's it.
Thanks for inviting me.
No worries. I hope you enjoyed yourself somewhat. Okay, so that's basically the end of today's episode, and if you have any questions for Terry, or any questions that you have for like real estate gurus or people in the real estate industry, you can leave them in the comments below. If not, do remember to like and subscribe for more of such episodes, and we'll see you in the next episode.